This is a live look in Brooklyn Park. Police there have issued a shelter in place for a 3-mile radius surrounding the Edinburgh golf course for an emergency event. Officers are looking for a suspect in multiple targeted shootings who is considered armed and dangerous. The suspect is a white man with brown hair. He is wearing black body armor over a blue shirt and blue pants. Police say he may misrepresent himself as law enforcement. Please be careful if you are in that area. We're also been told that people are told to not answer the door. There's a knock at the door unless they see more than one law enforcement officer there. Once again, a live look there in Brooklyn Park. Shelter in place there for people within a 3-mile radius of the Edinburgh golf course.
Breaking news, the Associated Press is reporting authorities are searching for a 57-year-old man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers. The suspect is identified as 57-year-old Vance Belter. Police were searching for the gunman responsible for the attacks on the Democratic legislators. Writing found inside a fake police car recovered at one of the shooting scenes mentioned the names of multiple lawmakers and other officials. We will continue tracking the story.
We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost a dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers.
You know, in the Bible, it talks about that the pit you dig for somebody else is the pit that you fall in. This is the epitome of the pit and the hole that the Democratic Party dug for everybody else. This is them falling into that hole. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen, the left is violent. And now that chicken has come home to roost, in the words of Malcolm X, the chickens have come home to roost. Yeah. The chickens have come home to roost because you're out here in the streets acting a damn fool. See, Tim Walz don't have no problem with bullying when it's bullying a conservative. And he went so far as to say this.
Will you apologize for what you said about ICE, comparing them to Gestapo?
To identify who they are when they operate, to not use unmarked.
Okay. Are you calling for ICE agents to be brought to a tribunal under the threat of death by comparing them to the Gestapo?
Everyone is afforded due process.
Is bullying okay?
Is bullying okay as teacher?
Is bullying okay? Yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
I think
yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully at times.
Well, you're showing that the Democrat Party is a party of violence.
See, pretty girl Nancy Mace just makes it plain. They are the party of violence. It's plain and simple. But the problem is, you see, the news media wants to cover for them, even when you can't cover for the violence. The Alex Padilla event. You see, this is why when Alex Padilla was grabbed and slammed to the ground, he needed to be done. That needed to be done because they're violent. I bet those two dead people wish somebody was there to grab the guy who was appointed by Tim Walz. We're going to get to that. This guy worked for Tim Walz. He was appointed by Tim Walz. I bet they wish somebody was there to slam his ass to the ground before he went blucker, 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 blucker. You know he held the gun sideways too. Blucker, blucker. Yeah. But you can't defend violence. You can't defend yourself from a violent mob is what they want you to believe. And now that violence has come home.
I'll stand for any questions.
Are there reasons to believe that these events were also targeted by the person in the manifesto in the car?
We don't have any direct links. However, there were some flyers that said no kings within the suspect vehicle. And as we know, the planned events throughout the state of Minnesota today is a no kings event.
Now, it was obvious that he used the No Kings event as either justification or cover, or maybe he was just so Trump deranged based upon the news media going crazy that he figured the best thing to do was murder people. We'll find out once they capture him. That's when we'll find out. But If we had the ability to keep up with all the news and see everything that was going on, like some AI programs do, we could have predicted this had we seen what this woman said in the news after she decided that she wasn't going to vote for a particular bill. She looked terrified. This lets me know that someone threatened her and they acted out on that threat.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Over in the Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced to vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
This one hurt. This one is a wound because of its reason. My colleagues across the aisle set this as their number one priority.
Asked whether the move would drive a wedge between her and the rest of her caucus, her DFL colleague, Senator John Marty, quickly stepped to her defense.
As a member of the caucus, yes, sir, she clearly was fighting against it every step of the way. In the negotiations, if we wanted a budget, we had to agree to that.
And what kills me about this whole situation is this. We know the left is violent. We just went through them trying to assassinate Donald J. Trump. Remember the bullet going by his ear? The little dude laying on top of the building, the shed, which inside of the shed was a whole bunch of police officers. That didn't make no damn sense. To this day, it don't make no damn sense. But they're going to sit here and pretend like it's our fault or Donald's fault. And I want you to understand something. When they talk about Donald, they are talking about you. Yeah. Because he represents you. We can't no longer disassociate this. When they took the shot at his ear, they were saying, no, we trying to kill all of y'all. Every one of you Americans who believe that America should not be full of illegal immigrant rapists, murderers, killers, child molesters. And we're going to take out the only hope that you have for making this nation, putting this nation back on the right foot. So, yeah, they're violent. Car bombs going off. The media line. Hold on, let me show it to you, man.
Baby Cali family. We just had an explosion go off right now in front of the Planet Hollywood and the Cosmo. Tree just caught on fire. There was a car. At the end of the video, you will see the car driving away from the scene. I have the video of the scene of the driver driving away. Guys, let's make it viral. Let's make it happen. This was crazy. We heard the bang. Luckily, I was able to get the video from somebody that was recording it. Let's make it viral, guys. At the end of the video, you'll see the vehicle drive away. Let's go, guys. Find this car. Let's find this person. This perpetrator's out here causing us harm out here. So, love you guys. Thank you guys. Take care.
Given this is also not a normal question, because I'm going to ask it about the Department of Justice, which heretofore, prior to this administration, it's always been held that the Department of Justice is an apolitical body. Do you see it as such now? And if you don't, the fact that these are two Democratic lawmakers that have been attacked, one killed and one right now fighting for his life in a hospital after being shot multiple times, do you have any doubt, any concern that because of political differences, biases, this will not be addressed the way it should be?
It should be apolitical, right? That's what we have seen from Republican and Democratic administrations up until this one. Right now, Donald Trump has in place people who are more loyal to him than they are to the Constitution and the rule of law. And what really, if I can rewind the tape, if I can, just 4 months ago, we saw this president pardon violent January 6 offenders, people who were convicted.
1,500 of them.
1,500. He just pardoned them. That, to me, normalized political violence. These are people, Alex, that he summoned to Washington. He told them, come to D.C. We'll be wild, he says in a tweet. And they come to Washington at his behest. They come with their zip ties. They come with their weapons. They come with their bear spray. And he tells them to march down to the Capitol and to fight like hell. And they do exactly that until he tells them to stop. And so now he gets back in office and he pardons them. That, to me, is the normalization of political violence. And
I can understand why you say it that way, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? These people don't give a damn about each other. This is how you know they fully demonic. So she starts off saying, well, do you think the DOJ would prosecute these people the same way and search for the killers the same way they would search for, because they're Republicans? And then he just goes on a stupid tirade about January 6th. They don't give a damn, ladies and gentlemen. They don't. It is not hitting the news actually who the guy's affiliated with. Hold on, let me show you this. You got to see who the guy who murdered the people, the suspect, is affiliated with. But I need you to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. These people, when I say these people, somebody may say, who are these people? The Democratic Party, the extreme leftist, liberal, communist, socialist jackasses, and the liberal media do not care about anything but having their way. It's obvious. Even when two of their own are slain, smurdered. They smurdered. They still playing politics. It's insane. But real quickly, let's see who the suspect is.
Hi, Ken. Good morning. Police Chief Mark Bruley, Brooklyn Park Police Department. The question is, how did we get to Representative Hortman's house, and it was proactively or not? The circumstances that unfolded in Brooklyn Park this morning is that we assisted the Champlin Police Department on a shooting. That shooting was made aware by one of our sergeants that it was at Senator Hoffman's home. In hearing that very intuitive sergeant asked our officers to go check on Melissa Hortman's home, a representative that lives in our community, just proactively as due diligence to swing by. That police officer and his partner pulled down the street when they arrived at Melissa's house. They noticed that there was a police vehicle in the driveway with the lights, emergency lights on, and what appeared to be a police officer at the door coming out of the house. When our officers confronted them, the individual immediately fired upon the officers, who exchanged gunfire, and the suspect retreated back into the home.
Was this an actual police officer or an impersonating police officer?
Yes, the question is, was it a real person or a person impersonating a police officer? It was not a real police officer. This is somebody that clearly had been impersonating a police officer, again, using the trust of this badge and this uniform to manipulate their way into the home.
So Chief Burley, Janet Shortle, Pier 11, the person not only was wearing a badge posing as a police officer, when they approached their victims, they had a car with lights and sirens?
Yes, the question is what kind of vehicle, how were they dressed? They did drive a vehicle that looked exactly like an SUV squad car. It was equipped with lights, emergency lights that looked exactly like a police vehicle. And yes, they were wearing a vest with taser, other equipment that would, a badge very similar to mine, that no question, if they were in this room, you would assume that they are a police officer.
Chief, can you describe the moments after that played out? You said the person went into the home, and then can you help us understand the next 10-15 minutes of how we got to the point we're at now?
Yeah, briefly, although I'm just going to remind us that this is an absolutely active investigation. We have thousands of people sheltered in place in the city of Brooklyn Park right now. We are in an extensive manhunt involving hundreds and hundreds of police officers and SWAT teams searching, gridding off areas, as we believe confidently the suspect had fled out the back of the house after being confronted by the police. Very briefly, after the officers had exchanged gunfire and the suspect retreated into Melissa's home, they immediately went up to the threshold and looked in and seen a male that was down, clearly had been struck by gunfire. They made a limited penetration, grabbed a hold of the male and drug him out to safety to attempt first aid. However, he was pronounced dead shortly after that. At that point, the officers surrounded the house, got additional resources and SWAT resources, and then ultimately went in with a drone identifying a female in the home.
Now, apparently, and this is allegedly, this gentleman right here, Vance Luther Bolter, is the one who murdered these people, who smurdered them. And he was appointed by Governor Tim Walz. Remember I told you at the beginning of this video, I said the pit that you dig will be the one that you fall in. And remember, who's the main one running out talking trash about violence and about all the rest of this crap about standing up to Donald Trump? It is Tim Walz. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And of course, in the comments, it's saying over here, that doesn't make him a Democrat, you idiot. Just because he was appointed by Tim Walz. It don't matter. It don't matter. A Tim Walz appointee, whether he's Democrat, Independent, or Republican, he was appointed by Tim Walz. Now, we know Tim Walz ain't appointing no Republican to do a damn thing. So he's either an Independent or he's a Democrat. Chances are he's a damn Democrat. And he went out and smurdered the people. And then when you really sit back and think about it, I want you to sit back for a second in your chair. Sit back like this. And I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think. And realize that these people were shot at and murdered, most likely because they refused to support the woke agenda of giving health care to illegals in Minnesota. Bruh. And you trying to tell me that these clowns won't destroy the whole entire universe if they're given opportunity to? They will destroy everything, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you made it to this end of this video and you liked it, I would appreciate it if you subscribe, hit the like button so we can get into that algorithm. Our goal is to compete with the larger Fox News channels. If you'll check it out, we always ranking #1 over Fox, even with the low views. So I'm doing everything right. I need your help to get this different perspective in the spotlight. You see, the mainstream media, whether it be Fox News, which is conservative, or Newsmax, they have these strong confines, these walls that they have to stay in. They can't drink methylene blue live on screen like me and get hype off that methylene. They can't do that. I could drink that methylene and get hype. You know what I'm saying? All right, ladies and gentlemen, see y'all on the next video. Deuces.